June 18, 1815, Waterloo, Belgium. Napoleon's army faces its final battle. Two empires hang in the balance. But the real winner isn't on the battlefield. He's in London, watching, waiting, about to pull off the greatest financial coup in history. His name is Nathan Rothschild. What he does in the next 24 hours will change banking forever. This isn't just about money. It's about power, control, an invisible empire that still shapes our world today. Let's go back to 1744, Frankfurt, Germany. A Jewish merchant named Mayer Amschel Rothschild is born in the ghetto. Life is hard, very hard. Jews face strict laws. They can't own land, can't join most professions. But Mayer is smart, very smart. He starts dealing in rare coins, antiques. He builds connections with wealthy collectors. By 1769, he caught the attention of Prince William of Hesse. One of the richest men in Europe, Mayer becomes his financial agent. He handles money, makes investments, earns trust. But Mayer sees something others don't. Europe is changing. Wars are coming. Kingdoms need money fast. He makes a bold decision, a revolutionary one. He sends his 5 sons to 5 different cities across Europe. Amschel stays in Frankfurt, Salomon goes to Vienna, Nathan moves to London. Karl heads to Naples, James settles in Paris. 5 brothers, 5 financial capitals, 1 unified family network. This is the foundation. The invisible empire begins here. By 1800, the Rothschilds are no longer small merchants. They're international bankers. They move money across borders, fast, secure, more efficient than any government in Europe. Kings and generals need loans for their wars. The Rothschilds provide them. But they're careful, strategic. They don't pick sides. They fund everyone. Austria needs money to fight Napoleon. The Rothschilds lend it. Britain needs gold for Wellington's army. The Rothschilds move it. Strategy makes them essential, untouchable. Nathan Rothschild sits in his London office. It's 1815. Napoleon has escaped from Elba. He's raising another massive army. Europe panics. Stock markets crash everywhere. Everyone fears another decade of brutal war. Nathan sees opportunity. Big opportunity. He knows something critical, something most people miss. Information is power. Speed is everything. The Rothschilds built the fastest communication network in Europe. Private couriers, carrier pigeons, secret codes. They get news before governments do, before armies, before anyone. Nathan places agents across the continent, men who watch carefully, listen, report back immediately. One agent is positioned near Waterloo. His job is simple: watch the battle, send a word immediately. The British government is nervous. Wellington's army is strong. But Napoleon is Napoleon. If Wellington loses, Britain faces invasion. The economy will collapse. The empire could fall. Nathan knows this. He prepares. He quietly buys up gold, moves assets, positions himself for either outcome. June 18th, 1815. The Battle of Waterloo begins. Cannons roar. Men die. The fate of Europe hangs in the balance. Nathan's agent watches from a hill. He sees everything. June 19th, 1815, late evening. Nathan Rothschild stands on the floor of the London Stock Exchange. The battle is over. But nobody in London knows the result yet, except Nathan. His courier arrived hours earlier, special boat across the channel. Fast horses to London. Nathan knows Wellington won. Napoleon is finished, but he keeps quiet. He walks to his usual pillar in the exchange. His face is blank, emotionless. Then he does something strange. He starts selling. British government bonds, massive amounts. Other traders notice. They know Nathan. They know he has the best information. If Nathan is selling, Wellington must have lost. Panic spreads. Everyone starts selling. Prices crash. The market goes into freefall. British bonds drop to almost nothing. Nathan keeps selling. His face shows nothing. Hours pass. Selling continues. Then quietly, Nathan gives a signal to his agents. They start buying everything. Every bond they can find. At rock-bottom prices. By the next morning, official news arrives. Wellington won. Napoleon is defeated. The market explodes upward. British bonds soar. Nathan Rothschild just made millions. Some say the equivalent of billions in today's money. But it's not just about the profit. It's about the message. The Rothschilds now control information, markets. Governments need them more than ever. The victory at Waterloo changes everything. Nathan becomes the most powerful banker in Britain. His brothers expanded across Europe. They don't just lend money anymore. They shape policy, influence kings, control currencies. Governments come to them with problems. The Rothschilds provide solutions. By 1818, they're organizing international loans, rebuilding Europe after the wars. They finance the construction of railways, mines, industrial projects. Their wealth grows beyond imagination. But they stay quiet, private, invisible. The public knows the name, but few understand the real power. In Vienna, Salomon negotiates with the Austrian emperor. In Paris, James becomes advisor to the French government. In Naples, Karl finances the restoration of the monarchy. The five brothers communicate constantly, sharing information, coordinating strategy. They operate as one unit, one mind, one empire. But their success brings danger. Competitors grow jealous. Politicians grow suspicious. Conspiracy theories spread. Some call them puppet masters, secret rulers of Europe. The Rothschilds ignore the rumors. They keep working, keep expanding. By 1820, they're involved in almost every major financial decision in Europe. They're backing the Spanish government, funding the Austrian Empire, supporting the British pound. They have become so powerful that one newspaper writes, "There is but one power in Europe, and that is Rothschild. But power creates enemies." The family is about to face its greatest test, a test that will determine if their invisible empire can survive in a changing world. A world of revolutions, nationalism, new political systems, a world that might not need the Rothschilds anymore, or so it seems. 1830. Revolution sweeps across Europe. France overthrows its king. Belgium declares independence. Poland rebels against Russia. The old order is crumbling. Monarchies fall. New governments rise everywhere. The Rothschilds watch carefully, very carefully. Other banking families panic. They lose fortunes. Some collapse completely. Well, but the Rothschilds adapted. In Paris, James Rothschild meets with the new French government. They need money desperately. James offers a loan. He demands something in return. Influence, access, control. The new government agrees. They have no choice. James becomes their chief financial advisor. He saves the French economy. His power grows. In Vienna, Salomon faces a different challenge. The Austrian Empire is in debt. They borrowed heavily during the wars. Now they can't pay back. Salomon negotiates, restructures the debt, extends the terms, saves Austria from bankruptcy. Emperor Francis I is grateful. He makes Salomon a baron, the first Jewish baron in Austrian history. The Rothschilds are no longer just bankers. They're nobility. This pattern repeats across Europe. Governments change. Revolutions happen. But the Rothschilds remain. They're essential. They hold the debt. They control the credit. No matter who's in power, everyone needs the Rothschilds. By 1840, the family is funding massive projects. They finance the first major railway systems, France, in Austria, across Germany. These aren't just investments, they're strategic moves. Railways connect markets, speed up trade, increase their control over commerce. Nathan's son, Lionel, continues expanding in Britain. He financed the British government's purchase of the Suez Canal shares in 1875. This single move gives Britain control of the vital shipping route to India. Prime Minister Disraeli needs £4 million. Fast. Parliament is out of session. He sends a message to Lionel. "Can you help?" Lionel responds immediately, "Yes, when do you need it?" The money is delivered within days. No bank in the world could move that fast. Except the Rothschilds. This is their real power, not just wealth. Speed, access, trust. But the 19th century brings new threats. In Russia, conspiracy theories spread. People blame the Rothschilds for economic problems. In France, political movements attack international bankers. They call them traitors, outsiders. In Germany, Rising nationalism targets Jewish families, including the Rothschilds. The family faces a choice: fight back publicly or stay quiet. Stay invisible. They choose invisibility. They reduce their public profile. They operate through intermediaries. Shell companies. Hidden networks. The Rothschilds' name appears less in newspapers, but their influence doesn't decrease, it increases. They help establish the Bank of England's gold standard system. They stabilize international currencies. When economic crises hit, governments call the Rothschilds first. The Panic of 1857. The Rothschilds provide emergency loans. Markets stabilize. The Panic of 1873. Again, the Rothschilds step in. Europe avoids total collapse. They become the invisible safety net for the global economy. By 1900, the family had evolved completely. They're no longer just one family in 5 cities. They're an international institution. They control mines in Spain, diamond operations in South Africa, oil fields in Russia. They finance governments, build infrastructure, shape economic policy. But the 20th century changed everything. World War I destroys the old European order. Empires collapse. New nations emerge. The Rothschild Empire faces its greatest challenge. Their assets are spread across enemy nations. Communications break down. The network fractures. After the war, nothing was the same. Russia seizes Rothschild's properties during the revolution. Billions in assets, gone. Nazi Germany later confiscates their Austrian holdings. More losses. The family that survived every revolution for a century finally faces defeat, but not complete defeat. The London and Paris branches survive. They adapt again. They shift from government finance to private banking, corporate deals, mergers and acquisitions. By 1950, the Rothschilds were quieter, smaller, but still powerful. They helped rebuild Europe after World War II. They financed the new global economy. Today, Rothschild banks still exist. In London, in Paris, in Switzerland. They're not the dominant force they once were, but they're still players. The invisible empire became even more invisible. So what's the real lesson here? The Rothschilds understood something fundamental about power. Real power isn't loud. It's quiet, patient, strategic. They built an empire not through conquest, but through information, speed, trust. They survived revolutions, wars, economic crashes. How? By making themselves essential, by adapting, by never putting all their power in one place. When monarchies fell, they worked with republics. When old industries died, they moved to new ones. When nationalism attacked them, they became more invisible. This is the pattern of lasting power. Don't fight the system. Become part of it. Become necessary to it. Mayer Rothschild started in a ghetto. His descendants became barons, advisors to empires, shapers of the modern financial system. They proved that in the world of money, information beats armies. Networks beat nations. Patience beats force. The Rothschild story isn't just history. It's a blueprint for how small players become giants, for how outsiders become insiders, for how one family, in just 2 generations, built an empire that lasted 2 centuries. They created modern international banking. The bond market, the gold standard system, they showed that money has no borders, no loyalty, no nationality. It flows to whoever understands it best. The name Rothschild became synonymous with wealth, power, mystery. Some of that mystery was real. Some were created. All of it was strategic. They understood that legends are more powerful than facts, that invisibility is stronger than visibility, that in the game of power, the best players are the ones you don't see. If this story opened your eyes to how real power works, hit subscribe. Because history isn't just about kings and generals, it's about the people behind them, the ones controlling the money. The invisible empires that shape our world. The Rothschilds wrote the playbook.